Hello students, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will go through the NCERT questions and answers from the chapter Methods of Separation in Everyday Life. I will explain them in a very simple way so that you can easily write them in your exams. Now, let us start with the first question. What purpose does hand picking serve in the process of separation? Option 1. Filtration. Filtration is a method used to separate insoluble solids from liquids. So, it is incorrect. Option 2. Sorting. Hand picking is a method of sorting. In this method, unwanted materials are removed from useful materials by picking them out with the hand. Example like removing small stones from rice or pulses. Option 3. Evaporation. Hand picking does not involve heating or changing liquid into vapor. So, it is not evaporation. Option 4. Decantation. Decantation is a method where a liquid is carefully poured off from a mixture after the heavier particles settle down. Hand picking does not involve pouring liquids or settling particles. So, this option is also incorrect. So, the correct answer is option 2, sorting. Next question. Which of the following substances are commonly separated using the churning method? Option 1. Oil from water. Oil and water are separated mainly by decantation or using a separating funnel because oil is lighter and floats on water. Churning is not used for this separation. Option 2. Sand from water. Sand is separated from water by sedimentation and filtration because sand is heavier and settles at the bottom. Churning is not needed for this process. And option 3, cream from milk. Churning is a method in which milk or curd is stirred continuously using a churner or mixer. During this process, the fat particles come together and separate from the liquid, forming cream or butter. This method is commonly used at home to separate butter from curd. Option 4, oxygen from air. Churning cannot separate gases from air. So, the correct answer is option 3, cream from milk. Next question. Which factor is usually essential for the filtration? Option 1. Apparatus size. The size of the apparatus does not determine filtration. Filtration depends on the filter material and its pores, not on the size of the container or equipment. Option 2. Presence of air. Air is not required for filtration. Filtration works because the filter traps solid particles, not because of air. Option 3. Pore size. In filtration, a filter such as filter paper, cloth or a strainer is used to separate insoluble solid particles from a liquid. The filter has very tiny holes called pores. These pores allow the liquid to pass through, but they trap the solid particles. Therefore, the size of the pores is very important for proper filtration. Option 4. Temperature of the mixture. Temperature is usually not necessary for filtration. Filtration can occur at normal temperatures without heating the mixture. So, the correct answer is option 3, pore size. Filtration works because the pores of the filter allow liquid to pass through but stop the solid particles. Next question. State with reasons whether the following statements are true or false. Also correct the false statements. So, here we need to write true or false for the given statement. Give a reason to explain why the statement is true or false, and if the statement is false, write the correct statement. First one, salt can be separated from salt solution by keeping it under the sun. This statement is true. When we keep a salt solution under the sun, the heat from the sun causes the water to slowly change into water vapor and escape into the air. This process is called evaporation. Since salt does not evaporate, it remains behind as a solid after all the water has evaporated. So, you can write the reason as when the salt solution is kept under the sun, the water evaporates, leaving the salt behind. Second one, hand picking should be used only when the quantity of one component is less. This statement is also true. Hand picking is a method of separation in which unwanted materials are removed by hand. This method works only when the amount of impurity is very small and the particles are large enough to be seen easily. If the quantity of impurities is very large, hand picking becomes difficult and time consuming. So, you can write the reason as hand picking is used when the unwanted substances are present in small quantities and can be easily seen and picked by hand. Next question. A mixture of puffed rice and rice grains can be separated by threshing. This statement is false. Threshing is a method used in agriculture to separate grains from the stalks and husks of harvested crops like wheat or rice. It is usually done by beating the crop or using machines. But in this case, we have a mixture of puffed rice and rice grains, and the difference between them is mainly their weight. Puffed rice is much lighter while rice grains are heavier. So this mixture can be separated by winnowing. In winnowing, the mixture is dropped from a height in moving air or wind. The lighter puffed rice is blown away while the heavier rice grains fall down. So you can write the reason as threshing is used to separate grains from the stalks of harvested crops, not to separate puffed rice and rice grains. And the correction is a mixture of puffed rice and rice grains can be separated by winnowing. Next question. A mixture of mustard oil and lemon water can be separated by decantation. This statement is true. Mustard oil and lemon water do not mix with each other. When they are kept undisturbed for some time, the mustard oil forms a separate layer on top because it is lighter than water. In decantation, the top liquid layer is carefully poured into another container, leaving the bottom liquid behind. In this way, mustard oil can be separated from lemon water. So, you can write the reason as mustard oil and lemon water do not mix with each other. Oil is lighter and floats on the surface, so the mixture can be separated by decantation. Next one. Sieving is used to separate a mixture of rice flour and water. This statement is false. Sieving is a method used to separate solid particles based on their size. For example, separating bran from flour or stones from sand using a sieve. But a mixture of rice flour and water is a solid liquid mixture. In this case, sieving will not work properly because the flour particles are very fine and pass through the sieve with water. Therefore, this mixture is separated by filtration where the solid particles remain on the filter paper or cloth and the water passes through it. So, you can write the reason as sieving is used to separate solid particles of different sizes, not a solid and liquid mixture. And the correction is a mixture of rice flour and water can be separated by filtration. Next, we have a match the following. Match the mixtures in column 1 with their method of separation in column 2. First one, gram flour mixed with black gram. Gram flour has very fine particles while black gram seeds are much larger. When the mixture is passed through a sieve, the flour passes through the holes and the black gram remains on the sieve. So, the answer is D. Sieving. Second one, chalk powder mixed with water. Chalk powder is an insoluble solid in water. When the mixture is filtered using filter paper or cloth, the chalk powder stays on the filter and water passes through. So, the correct answer is E. Filtration. Third one, corn mixed with potatoes. Corn grains and potatoes are large and easily visible. They can be separated manually by picking them with our hands. So, the answer is A. Handpicking. Then, fourth one, iron powder mixed with sawdust. Iron is a magnetic substance, while sawdust is non-magnetic. When a magnet is brought near the mixture, the iron powder sticks to the magnet, separating it from sawdust. So, the answer is B. Magnetic separation. Then, oil mixed with water. Oil and water do not mix. Oil is lighter and floats on water. The top layer of oil can be carefully poured off, which is called decantation. So, the answer is C. Decantation. Next question. In what situations would you use decantation instead of filtration to separate solids from liquids? We use decantation instead of filtration when the solid particles are heavy and settle at the bottom of the liquid after some time. So, you can write the answer as decantation is used when the solid particles are heavy and settle down at the bottom of the liquid. After the solid settles, the clear liquid is carefully poured into another container without disturbing the solid. In such cases, decantation is easier and quicker than filtration. Example, separating rice from water. Next question. Can you relate the presence of nasal hair to any separation process? Yes, nasal hair is related to the process of filtration. When we breathe, the air around us may contain dust, pollen, and other tiny particles. The nasal hair inside our nose acts like a natural filter. It traps these unwanted particles and prevents them from entering the lungs. This is similar to the filtration process, where a filter allows the fluid or air to pass through it but stops the solid particles. So you can write the answer as yes. The presence of nasal hair can be related to filtration. Nasal hair acts like a filter. It traps dust and other unwanted particles presented in the air when we breathe, allowing cleaner air to enter the lungs. Next question. During the COVID-19 pandemic, all of us wore masks. Generally, what material are they made of? What is the role of these masks? During COVID-19 pandemic, everyone wore face masks to stay safe. Most masks are made of cloth, cotton fabric, or special filtering materials such as those used in medical masks. These materials have very small pores that act like a filter. When we breathe, talk, cough, or sneeze, tiny droplets and germs may spread through the air. The mask blocks many of these droplets and particles, preventing them from entering or leaving our nose and mouth. So, you can write the answer as masks are generally made of cloth, cotton, or synthetic fibers. The role of masks is to filter dust, germs, and tiny droplets present in the air. They help prevent the spread of diseases and protect us from infections. Next question. A mixture containing potatoes, salt, and sawdust has been given to you. Outline a stepwise procedure for separating each component from this mixture. Potatoes are large in size, so they can be easily picked out by hand from the mixture. So, step 1 is separate the potatoes by hand picking because they are large and can be easily picked out. Then next step, add water to the remaining mixture of salt and sawdust. The salt dissolves in water, but the sawdust does not dissolve and floats on water. Step 3, remove the sawdust by decantation or filtration. The floating sawdust can be removed either by carefully pouring off the liquid, that is decantation, or by filtration. So, step 4 is finally the salt solution can be kept in the sun so that the water evaporates, leaving solid salt behind. So, by using hand picking, decantation or filtration and evaporation, we can separate all the components of the mixture. Next question. Read the following story titled Intelligent Leela and tick the most appropriate options. Provide a suitable title of your choice for the paragraph. So, we need to read the paragraph carefully. Wherever there are two choices, you must choose the correct word that makes the sentence meaningful and scientifically correct. After reading the full story, think about the main idea of the paragraph and write a short title. Leela was working in the farm with her father when she realized that they left their drinking water at home. Before her father felt thirsty or hungry, she went to the nearby pond to fetch some water or grains. After obtaining some water in the container, she noticed that the water was muddy and fit or unfit for drinking. To purify the water, she kept it for some time and then she filtered or churned the muddy water using a piece of paper or muslin cloth. Leela then cooled or boiled the water for about 10 minutes in a covered pan. After cooling or boiling, she filtered or churned it again and made it fit or unfit for drinking. She served this water to her father while having food, who blessed her and appreciated her efforts. So, the correct options: thirsty, water, unfit, filtered, muslin cloth, boiled, cooling, filtered, fit. So, in this story, Leela shows how we can clean muddy water using different separation methods. First, she brings water from the pond, but it is muddy and unfit to drink. She keeps the water undisturbed for some time so that the mud particles settle down at the bottom. Then she filters the water using a muslin cloth, which removes many solid impurities. After that, she boils the water for about 10 minutes. Boiling helps to kill harmful germs and microorganisms present in the water. Finally, after the water cools, she filters it again to remove any remaining particles. Now the water becomes safe and fit for drinking. The story teaches us that methods like settling, filtration and boiling can make water safe to drink. And you can write a suitable title for the story of your choice. Now in the section Learning Further, we have some interesting activities that will help you explore the topic better. First one, fun with parents. We are proud of our Indian heritage. Under supervision of your elders, try to prepare some herbal remedies using various parts of plants. For example, tulsi kada. Which methods of separation will you use while preparing herbal kada? So when we prepare a herbal kada, we use some methods of separation from daily life. First, we select fresh leaves and herbs like tulsi leaves, ginger and pepper. This is similar to handpicking, where we choose the useful plant parts and remove unwanted ones. Next, the herbals are boiled in water so that their medicinal substances mix with the water. After boiling, the mixture contains liquid along with solid plant pieces. To drink the kada, we filter the mixture using a strainer or cloth. This step is called filtration, where the liquid passes through and the solid plant parts remain behind. So while preparing herbal kada, the main methods of separation used are handpicking and filtration. So you can write the answer as, while preparing herbal kada, the following methods of separations are used. First, handpicking, to select and clean the required plant parts such as tulsi leaves, ginger or spices. Then filtration, to separate the liquid kada from the solid plant parts after boiling. Next one, stage play. Imagine you and your friend are Malli and Valli. Write dialogues of a play presenting their entire Bharat Ki Yatra, highlighting the different methods of separation of substances that they observed. Enact the play in your school assembly. So you have to write a play in dialogue form between Malli and Valli about their Bharat Ki Yatra. You should mention the places they visited, include different methods of separation they saw, and write it as a conversation, not paragraph. That is a dialogue-based play showing methods of separation during their journey. Next one, group activity. Observe and list separation methods you employed and noticed in your surroundings throughout the week. Explain the reasons behind using these methods and compile the ones you utilized or observed the most. Compare your observations with your group members. In our daily life, we use many methods of separation without even noticing them. During a week, students can observe activities at home, school, or nearby places. When rices or pulses are cleaned, small stones or husk are removed by handpicking. When tea is prepared, a strainer is used to separate tea leaves from the liquid, which is an example of filtration. Sieving, which is used to remove impurities from flour. Decantation, to separate rice from water. And winnowing, to separate husk from grains. Among these, filtration, handpicking and decantation are commonly used in daily life. Next one, be a stalwart of your community, interview a rag picker and prepare a case study about the methods of separation he or she uses in his or her daily life. Encourage children of your community below the age of 14 to join a neighborhood school. Stalwart means a person who is strong, responsible and always ready to help others. A rag picker plays an important role in waste management and recycling in our community. When they collect waste, it is usually a mixture of many materials like plastic, paper, glass, metal and food waste. So you can write your answer as, a rag picker in our community collects waste materials such as plastic bottles, paper, metal pieces, glass and food waste from different places. While sorting the waste, the rag picker mainly uses the method of hand picking. In this method, useful materials like plastic, paper and metal pieces are picked out by hand from the mixed waste. Sometimes magnetic separation is also used. A magnet can attract iron pieces, helping to separate them from other non-magnetic materials. These materials are then sorted into different groups such as plastic, metal and paper so that they can be recycled or sold to recycling centers. During this activity, students can also spread awareness in the community by encouraging families to send children below 14 years to school because education helps them build a better future. Next one, be a reporter. Gather newspaper clippings and articles related to various methods of separation implemented in your society, such as in agricultural fields or at construction sites. Then, conduct interviews with local farmers to explore the latest agricultural separation methods that they use. So, you have to act like a reporter. We have to do two things. Collect information, that is, gather newspaper clippings or articles, and they should be about methods of separation used in real life, like winnowing or threshing in farms or sieving sand in construction sites. Then you should conduct interviews. You should talk to local farmers and ask them what modern or new methods they use to separate substances. Next one, think like a scientist. You are provided with a mixture of iron nails, sand, black pepper, stones, common salt and water. Which steps will you follow to separate each component of a mixture? The given steps may help you to think like a scientist. Reflection steps: I observe, dash, I wonder, dash. So now you should think like a scientist. You are given a mixture of iron nails, sand, black pepper, stones, common salt and water. Now think which substance to separate first and decide which method to use, like handpicking, magnetic separation, filtration, etc. and arrange the steps in a logical sequence. A hint is given here. A mixture that has more than two components requires a combination of several methods of separation. So this hint means that when a mixture has many components, we cannot use just one method to separate everything. We need to use combination of different methods one after another. Which component should I separate first? Here, iron nails can be easily separated using a magnet and it is the quickest and easiest method. So, iron nails should be separated first because they can be easily removed using a magnet. What method of separation should I use first? Magnetic separation should be used first to remove iron nails from the mixture. How can we separate these components effectively? We can separate the components effectively by using appropriate methods in a proper sequence based on their properties. Will some of the components be soluble in water? Salt is soluble in water while the other components are insoluble. Other substances like sand, stones, black pepper and iron nails are insoluble and do not dissolve. What properties of the components can help us in their separation? Properties like magnetism, size, solubility and weight help in the separation of components. What is the most appropriate sequence? The most appropriate sequence is magnetic separation, that is to remove iron nails, hand picking to remove stones, sieving to separate black pepper from sand, filtration to separate sand from water and evaporation to obtain salt from water. The sequence follows the easiest and most effective methods first based on the properties of each substance. Some possible answers to the questions which occurred in my mind are: here you should write the answers or ideas that came to your mind while solving the problem. Write the solutions or steps you thought of, not the questions. So you can write the answer like, I will use different methods like magnetic separation, hand picking, sieving, etc. to separate the mixture. I performed the following methods of separation. Here you can write the methods you used while doing the separation process. You can write like, magnetic separation to remove iron nails, handpicking to remove stones, sieving to separate black pepper from sand, filtration to separate sand from water, and evaporation to obtain salt from water. My findings are here. You have to write what you learned or understood after doing the activity. You can write like different methods are used to separate components based on their properties. So with this, we have completed the NCERT question and answers from the chapter Methods of Separation in Everyday Life. I hope you found it easy to understand. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in our next video. Bye bye.